in writing is called as essay, sir. Okay, comprehensive analysis and brainstorming in writing is usually called as an essay. So that is the reason why in essay, okay, so usually there are no like very strict guidelines in order to write an essay, sir. Okay, there are some minimum basic rules that you have to follow, but there is no like you have to write only this content, this kind of rule is not there, sir. In essay, there are no content rules. Okay, the first and foremost important thing that you need to remember about essay is there are no content rules in essay, because essay is finally a comprehensive account of your brainstorming, how you are thinking. You have to put it across to the interviewer, so to the paper character. So that is what you have to do. So because of which there are no content rules for essay, sir. First and foremost, you have to understand this. Many people, what they do is while writing essay, they put a lot of content into it. Okay, required facts, not required facts. So this way, multiple number of facts are usually put in the essay paper, which is ideally not required for essay, sir. Okay, essay should be just a comprehensive brainstorming exercise, and in the brainstorming exercise, you will not be evaluated on the basis of the content that you have, sir. It is basically evaluated on the basis of the clarity of your thought, the comprehensiveness of your writing, okay, and the depth and width of your thought process is something which is evaluated, sir. Okay, so depth and width of the thought process, then along with that, okay, so the comprehensiveness of the areas that you have covered, that is what is evaluated. And in fact, essay is a test of your personality, but not your knowledge, sir. Okay, you have to understand this very carefully. Essay is a test of your personality. So if any long writing of yours, if someone reads, then automatically they will be able to make a rough assessment of your personality, sir. Okay, usually essay test is also a personality test. Okay, so but while writing essay, because it is a piece of literature, you have to first and foremost follow some rules of writing essay, some basic rules. Okay, not like very strict rules, okay, are not there. Some basic rules are there. And one such basic rule for writing an essay is, first and foremost, okay, you need to have a proper introduction for the essay. Okay, then the last one is there should be a proper conclusion. Okay, because I think I told you beforehand too that all humanities or all literature is a search for truth, sir. Okay, because of which what you have to do is you have to definitely write one introduction and one conclusion. So whatever the essay's content is given or whatever the statement is given, first and foremost you have to write an introduction and a conclusion, and in between there should be a body, sir. So only three parts are there to the essay: introduction, okay, body and conclusion. First and foremost, if we have a look at the introductory part, okay, in the introductory part, what is required in an essay? First, let's try to understand, sir. Then we will talk about the body part and then conclusion part, sir. So usually in an essay, the introduction can be of multiple number of kinds, sir. Okay, one kind of introduction which is usually followed by the students is they start the essay with a good quotation. Okay, many candidates, they usually start the essay by writing a very good quotation that they might have read in some place. Okay, so then they write the quotation and link it to the given statement. Okay, based on that some introduction is possible. Yes, or otherwise you can also start an essay with a short story, sir. Okay, so but while I'm saying story, okay, it should be short story, sir. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि okay आपको essay लिखना बोला, so but लेकिन शुरू में ही आप एक बड़ा वाला कहानी लिख लिया, that is not the right thing. Okay, you have to write a very short story, sir. Okay, very crisp and short story. Okay, so which might be based on some imaginary character, or which might be based on some or the other current related event also you can use in this short story based introduction, sir. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that the introduction itself is going to be like very mark fetching. It is just an entry into your essay, sir. So that is the reason why it would be better to use either the quotation or a short story you can use, or you can use some or the other prominent historical example which is known to everyone, sir. स्टोरी तो सब समझ लेंगे, लेकिन हिस्टोरिकल एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको लिखना है तो सो द हिस्टोरिकल एग्जाम्पल शुड बी वेरी openly known to people so that they can understand it very clearly when you are introducing the essay, sir. Okay, some good historical example can also be a good introduction. So let's suppose there is a question on violence, okay, or non-violence पे अगर question आ गया तो वहाँ पे तो you can talk about the transformation of Ashoka. That could be a good example because that is known to everyone. So let's suppose there is a question on education. Okay, so education के ऊपर अगर कोई आ गए तो you can quote some okay, great educationist of India. Okay, so in introduction, you can talk about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, his story. Okay, so of or his position from a person who was born into discrimination to a person who became, okay, the foundational father of, or the father of Indian Constitution. That a transition is possible only through education is one thing that you can quote. So what you can do is you can use historical examples, you can write a story, okay, then, or otherwise you can use a quotation, or you can also raise a very, very peculiar question in the introduction and also, okay, so go ahead with your essay, sir. Okay, some peculiar question, okay, given statement is given, okay, then on the basis of that, what you do is you can raise some good questions. Okay, so you try to write some good questions. So let's suppose the essay topic is on education in character building of a person, let's suppose. Okay, then you have to write some good questions. Are the educated people only the people with character? Okay, or the next one is character acquisition possible without education? Okay, or otherwise you can turn and twist the same words and you can raise multiple number of questions on the same issue, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So this way, through questions also you can introduce the essay. So this way, question based introduction is possible, quotation based introduction is possible, or story based introduction is possible, and historical example based introduction is possible, sir. But of all these introductions, the things which are more suitable are, okay, for multiple number of essays, historical example or short story based introduction is more suitable for most questions, sir. Is it making sense? Then after introducing the given essay, then what you have to do is, in every essay there should be a thesis, sir. Okay, usually this is called as the thesis statement of the essay. So where in the thesis statement you take the given statement in the essay. Essay का कोई given statement लेके आप, तो उसके ऊपर आप कौन सा dimensions explore करने वाला है. So which dimensions are you going to explore? So those things you have to write in the thesis statement, sir. Okay, let's suppose in the thesis statement itself you have to write whether you are trying to follow the political, economic, social, cultural. तो ऐसा भी exploration कर सकते हैं ना हम. So in these dimensions also we can explore. So the given statement in political dimension, economic dimension, social, cultural, this is one structure for the essay, right? So in the thesis statement itself, you have to clearly state that let us have a look at the said statement from the perspective of political, economic, social, cultural. Okay, so then along with that personal level. So this way, what you can do is you can explore it through the political, economic, social or cultural dimension. That is one type, sir. Or you can also do, okay, in the thesis statement itself, you can write, okay, let us have a look at the issue at individual level. Okay, so then after individual level, we can have a look at the issue at familial level. Okay, then after familial level, the next stage is the societal level. Okay, then after the societal level, let's have a look at the same issue at national level. Okay, so then after national level, we can have a look at the same issue at international level. So this is also one chart for exploration. Okay, the thesis itself should give a clear-cut idea to the examiner that what you are trying to do in the essay, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? तो political, economic, social, cultural dimension or personal, okay, then familial level, societal level, national level, international level is one more kind of exploration that you can do. Okay, so this is one thing. This is also one structure for the essay. Then apart from this, okay, the other structures of essay are, okay, you can in fact, apart from the political, economic, social, individual, you can also do one more exploration, okay, of the given issue or different ways of looking at the issue. Okay, you can do the exploration on the basis of some, okay, here also you can use some questions. Okay, you can raise some questions. Yes, what's that? Which one? 5WH. That's what. Okay, so the questions based approach, I was also trying to say the same thing. Okay, what, when, how, why. Okay, so ऐसा उसका ऊपर का, okay, so whatever given statement is given thesis, uska what, when, how, why. So these kind of dimensions also you can explore in the given thesis, sir. So in the thesis statement itself, you have to give a clear direction to the examiner that you are going to explore the said issue in all these dimensions, sir. Is it making sense? Yes. Then apart from this, okay, so these are different kinds of thesis which are possible. Then after writing the thesis statement, what you have to do is in the body of the essay, so what you have to write first and foremost very short and crisp paragraphs on each dimension, sir. So usually in essay, the paragraph should not cross, you can have a limit of 5 dimensions. Okay, 5 dimensions. And in these 5 dimensions, first what you have to do is you have to relate the given statement to the said issue, and these 5 dimensions or 5 lines में एक paragraph में आपको लिखना पड़ेगा sir. Okay, then in the body itself, what you can do is, while writing the essay, at the start of the essay or the end of the essay, different ways of putting the same statement which is given in the question you have to use there, sir. These are usually called as the connecting statements. In the connecting statements, what we can do is, any essay which is given, इसको ही हम लोग what we are going to do is we are going to break it down, cut it into different words, and then you have to quote the same words at the start or the end of your paragraph, sir. Okay, so I think you are not understanding this particular statement. When I give an example, you will understand it better. Just think about it. So let's suppose the essay is, so on, let's suppose, there was one essay in UPSC. I'll just give an example. In a society where there is justice, there is no need for charity is the question, sir. Okay, so in a society where there is justice, there is no need for charity. Okay, in a society where there is justice, there is no need for charity is the given essay statement. तो इसको हम लोग बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से लिख सकते हैं सर. So what we can do, in the starting of the essay, or the paragraph of the essay, what we can do is we can say, so justice means, justice means presence of fairness, and if fairness is there, there is no need for charity. Okay, that is one way of putting the same statement. Justice means fairness. Fairness, when it is present, there is no need for charity. So that would be the first statement or the last statement of your paragraph. Okay, and in between, what you do is you are going to explore either the political dimension or the individual dimension. Okay, these statements are usually called as the connecting statements for every paragraph, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So these are usually called as the connecting statements, and the connecting statements should be present at least 2 paragraphs once you have to use the connecting statement, so that the examiner will know very clearly that you are not diverging from the core demand of the essay. Connecting statements is the next one. So body mein, whenever you are writing the body, you have to use the connecting statements in order to connect your paragraphs to the given essay. At least 2 paragraphs once, not every paragraph, but at least 2 paragraphs once, you have to use these kind of connecting statements, sir. Then apart from the connecting statements, the next thing that you have to do is, in the body, you are going to in fact give a lot many supporting arguments to the given essay. Given essay ko supporting arguments, all of them you are going to explore. Then after exploring the correct supporting arguments, what you have to do is you have to also write some opposing arguments also in terms of paragraphs, sir. And in the thesis itself, you have to say that even though this statement particularly holds true in multiple dimensions, there are some limitations to the given statement too. In the thesis statement itself, you have to state, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Yes. So in the thesis itself, you have to say that we are going to look at the other dimensions also which are present, and you have to write some at least 3 to 4 paragraphs of the limitations of the given statement or the other dimensions which are not explored in the given statement, sir. Is it making sense? Okay, so this way opposing arguments you will write. Then after that, the last part is usually the part of conclusion, sir. So when it comes to the conclusion of the given essay, so in conclusion, what we can do is, most of the times it is very suitable for us to, in fact, when you introduce the issue with a short story, in conclusion, you have to bring back that short story again, sir. In fact, this is called as, winding up the essay, sir. And in winding up the essay, whatever short story you have used in introduction, the same short story you have to quote in the conclusion too, again once more. So, or you can bring the character that you have used in the introduction again in the conclusion, and through his eyes, you have to give a good conclusion, sir. Are you following what I'm trying to say? And at the same time, similarly in introduction, let's suppose you have used an historical example. The same historical example you have to bring back to the conclusion, and in conclusion, through the historical example's perspective, based on the given discussion, what kind of conclusion you can give, that you have to give, sir. It means that the essay should start with the same story or same historical example, and in the conclusion, you have to come back to the same historical example. So this would be like wrapping up the story, sir. This gives some satisfaction to the reader, that you have started with the same example and ended with the same example, and in between you have explored the various dimensions, and after exploring the dimensions, you have in fact considered the opposing arguments too, and then finally you have given a conclusion, sir. So these are some basic rules of essay writing, sir. Basic. So but in writing this kind of essay, what you have to do is you have to always look out for good introduction, good conclusion. then the thesis statement should be absolutely clear, and after writing the thesis statement you should not diverge from the thesis statement in your essay, sir. Sometimes what happens is people start off writing essay, okay, then when they are writing, what happens is suddenly they diverge from the before thought process, okay, whatever thought process we had earlier. So we are going to diverge from the thought process, then new dimensions we are going to get in, and by getting these new dimensions, what we do is usually we in fact confuse the entire body of the essay. So that is the reason why, in order to avoid these kind of problems, usually an essay should be preceded by, okay, so these are the basic rules of essay. But before starting the writing of essay, what we have to do is we have to definitely do a brainstorming exercise, sir. Okay, because essay in itself is a brainstorming exercise, but it has to be done in a more organized and comprehensive fashion. But first, before starting off with the essay, you can do the brainstorming, which is not having any limits, sir. First, let all the thoughts which are present in your mind, let them flow out. Okay, so first what you do is, so any given statement is given, okay, some statement is given in the essay, you will write that on top of the brainstorming sheet, or the end rough sheet would be there. So on the rough sheet itself you write the idea, then after that whatever thoughts you get, you enlist them in point format, sir. Okay, all the points that you get in your mind with respect to the said issue, you have to enlist all of those points in a organized, in a format, sir. Just simply organize them. Then the best idea which is present here, that also we can use as introduction. क्या आपका essay में सबसे best idea, okay, सबसे good idea which is very unique insight, let's suppose if it is there, then that can also be used in introduction. Or some good historical example which you thought about can be used in introduction. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? Then after exploring these dimensions, what you have to do is you have to number these dimensions properly, sir. Okay, number these dimensions means what? Okay, based on the weight of the argument, you have to properly prioritize them. So whichever are very good arguments, you have to push them above, and whichever arguments are not very good, so what you have to do is you have to push them back in your essay, and if possible you can neglect them to, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So क्योंकि आपका अगर okay 8 अच्छा पॉइंट मिला, लेकिन आपको 10 पॉइंट लिखने का मन था, but while writing what will happen is by 8 point itself you have filled most of the space. So what happens is the last 2 points you can neglect to, sir. So this way what you have to do is you have to first and foremost brainstorm, then after that by following the basic rules of essay you can in fact write an organized essay. And in brainstorming I'll give you some inputs for thinking, sir. Okay, you might be knowing about the syllabus of your examination. So the syllabus of the examination, it starts with what, sir? Main syllabus. Let's suppose you see the main syllabus. In main syllabus the first dimension is history. Okay, so culture or history. So the given question को पहले historical example कोई मिलेगा क्या? So पहले आप historical example, okay, उसको पकड़ के यहाँ पे लिख लीजिए. How are you are going to connect? Then the second dimension in your syllabus is what? Society. Society is the second dimension. So society का कोई applicability है क्या इस issue पे? So that would be the second dimension. Third dimension would be geographical. Okay, geographical also you can connect some essays to the geography too. So then after that you can go to the polity or political aspect. Then after that governance is one more dimension. Then after that international relations is one more dimension. Then if you come to paper 3, you have first economy. Okay, then after that science and tech. Then after that environment. Then after that disaster management is there. Then internal security is one more. And the last dimension is what? Ethics. So how many dimensions you will get, sir, by this way? Okay, 9 to 10 dimensions. पेपर 3 में ही आपको 5 डायमेंशन मिल जाएगा, पेपर 1 में 3, पेपर 2 में 3. So 5 plus 3 plus 3, that is 11 there, and ethical dimension is the 12th dimension, sir. So minimum of 12 dimensions in brainstorming exercise you can generate by using this method, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So what I am trying to say, and by exploring these 11 dimensions, you first put those 12 dimensions at one place. Okay, ऐसा रख के, so whichever is very good point which is very relevant to the given essay statement, what you are going to do is you are going to prioritize it as the first statement in the body. Okay, let's suppose the societal example is very closely related to this issue. Okay, so let's suppose the essay is on education. Education के ऊपर essay आ गया तो definitely the societal dimension would be the most important one. Okay, you can't write the geographical dimension or historical dimension as the first one. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So this way you prioritize the things, sir. Let's suppose a question comes on, okay, let's suppose character of a person. Then character के ऊपर जो essay आता है उसमें ethical dimension सबसे पहला आना चाहिए. Are you getting how you are going to prioritize here? So minimum 12 dimensions you are going to generate first. Then after that you can fit in them into different methods, sir. You can fit into the method of political, economic, social, okay, or other method which is individual, okay, then family, societal, okay. So these dimensions are also useful for us to think, sir. Then after that in body, what you can do is you can write in a very crisp and clear manner, sir. You have to remember one thing, in essay, if you are writing very short and good statements, sir, very short and good statements, this shows a lot of clarity of mind, sir. But in its place, if you are trying to write very long statements without any full stop, without any comma, okay, paragraphs शुरू में शुरू किया, then last the comma भी नहीं, full stop भी नहीं, okay, 6-7 line आ गए, okay, but by the time the examiner reads from the first line to the last line, he would have forgotten what you are trying to say, because most of the evaluator would be, okay, what? So old people, you just observe your parents, sir, okay, then you will understand it very clearly. So their attention span is very short, and you have to write statements which are in fact, okay, very suitable to their attention span, sir. If you write very long statements, what will happen is in the process they will forget the strength of the argument completely. Okay, वो argument को ही वो consider करना ही छोड़ देगा. So that is the reason why it is best for you to always write very short and crisp statements and end your paragraph within 5 to 6 lines is the best, but in the worst cases, maybe you can extend it to 7 lines, sir. Short, simple statements, okay, then along with that short paragraphs, exploration of the dimensions, then along with that connecting statements to the given essay are some of the essential rules, sir. Because if you do these things, then automatically what will happen is the examiner will understand that you did not diverge from the core demand of the essay. Yes or no? Because you are using the connecting statements. Then you are exploring in multiple dimensions. That is also one good thing that you are doing. Then you are writing both supporting arguments and opposing arguments. Are you following what I'm trying to say? Yes. So these are some essential rules. Rather than just telling some rules, I would discuss one essay, sir. Okay, not one. I want to discuss 2 essays. One which is very normal essay. One is a little philosophical essay. So both the essays I will try to discuss. Then you will understand how to use these dimensions better, sir. Yes. And in the brainstorming exercise, will you people also help me with some ideas? Yes. Okay, so then I'll just pick up the previous year UPSC paper, sir. 2023 ka UPSC paper. First we will try to answer one general essay, sir. Not like very philosophical essay. Okay, so one very normal essay let's pick up. Okay, so one essay which is related to society. Okay, so not very philosophical. Okay, maybe let's pick up this essay statement. Okay, the first one, which is a rather simple concept, sir. So it is made a statement that girls are usually weighed down by restrictions, whereas boys with demands. Okay, and 2 are equally harmful disciplines is what has been given as an essay, sir. Okay, what they are saying is girls are weighed down by restrictions, boys are weighed down by demands. Okay, and equally both are harmful disciplines is one thing that they have given, sir. Is it clear? Yes. So in fact this essay, first and foremost, let's try to brainstorm. Let's not think about any structure. Let's try to brainstorm, sir. Okay, so first and foremost, there are 2 important ideas here. Girls are weighed down by restrictions, then boys are weighed down by demand. Yes or no? Okay, let's think in a very particularly, okay, so from the style of the syllabus sheet, let's try to think in this fashion. Okay, first and foremost, in history, do we have any examples of girls being weighed down by restrictions, sir? So, ऐसा नहीं है. Okay. So first and foremost, the girls weighing down by restrictions are the social evils of India. Okay, sati. Okay, so then otherwise ghungat or parda. Okay, then along with that polygamy. All of these are restrictions. Child marriage is restriction on girls. Yes. Then similarly, how are boys weighed down by their demands in Indian history? Can you tell any example of a boy who is weighed down by his demands, sir? Huh? Government job ka, but history mein. Swami Vivekananda, is he weighed down by his demands of his family, sir? Not particularly. Okay, so in fact, this is very good. No, we can write Buddha. Okay, Buddha is one person who was weighed down by the demand of his father to become a universal emperor. Yes, that is how he was weighed down. Okay, Buddha is one example of a man who is weighed down by the weight of the demands on him. He has to become the next king. He has to rule his kingdom. Yes or no? So first and foremost, if you look at in historical example, so we can talk about the social evils on women. Those can be considered as restrictions. Just let us freely think, sir. Then the second dimension is, okay, we can talk about boys being weighed down by demands is Buddha. Then after this, let's try to explore the current social dimension of the same thing, sir. Okay, two ideas you have to give social dimension may. So currently, what kind of restrictions are there on girls, sir? What kind of restrictions? Currently, the restrictions which are there on women in the society are? Okay, so yes, one major restriction is, in fact, women cannot work after marriage. This is one major. So because of which our workforce participation currently is just how much? Okay, somewhere around some 20-23%. Okay, some odd 23% women after marriage, they are restricted from working or contributing to the economy. So that is the reason why we have low workforce participation of women. This is one dimension that we can think of. Then STEM education. STEM education में भी ज़्यादा role नहीं है, but rather than that, workforce participation is a better idea. Okay, girls restriction के ऊपर workforce participation is one better idea. Then similarly, when it comes to boys, so if we see, okay, the pressure of competition is very high among the boys. So because of which high suicide rates are there among men. Okay, high suicide rates, particularly in education age, there are high suicide rates of men, boys, because of the excessive competition in academic excellence. Okay, is one thing that is a demand which has been put on the people. Yes. Okay, so but can we talk about the geographical dimension for this, sir? Any particular geographical dimension? So specific areas के बारे में हम लोग बात कर सकते हैं. So geographical dimension में we can see understand this, sir. In geographical dimension we can see that particularly in usually, okay, the Western countries. Okay, Western countries में if we see, usually the restrictions on women are very less. Yes, okay, geographical dimension में अगर देखा तो Western countries में usually the restrictions on women are very less. Okay, so similarly the demands on boys are less in any area of the world, sir. Russia. Okay, so Meghalaya. So usually, so in geography dimensions you can explore the tribal areas also. So maybe in the tribal areas usually the demands on the boys are less when compared to the modern organized society, we can say. So we can explore this dimension saying that in Western countries women have less restrictions, or you can use the example of tribal societies for both, sir. Rather than going to the Western countries, tribal example, usually the restrictions on girls in tribal societies are less. So whereas the demands on boys are also less, because of which, okay, usually the happiness index in these kind of places is higher. So you can in fact bring in the example of Bhutan or some other thing geographically. If you think, you are going to get the point, sir. So tribal example you are going to give. Then after this, the next dimension is political dimension. In the political dimension, are there any restrictions on women, sir? Rather than that, Sarpanch Pati phenomenon, okay, where we can see, okay, so the men dominating the women who are elected to, there is one important political limitation on women's power. So similarly, men having excessive demands in politics. Can you give an example? Men are facing excessive demand in politics. Any particular example for politically men facing a lot of demand? Okay, so on men there are a lot of demands in politics. Narendra Modi, so he is working for 18 hours a day. Okay, so very hard working person. Okay, but rather than taking any contemporary example, okay, you can take some historical example for this. Okay, maybe politically, okay, some leaders who have faced a lot many demands from the people. Okay, so and they are not able to satisfy everyone. Okay. So I think the better example would be here Gandhiji, sir. Okay, Gandhiji's political career में there was too many demands on him and he was not able to satisfy all the demands. लिख सकते हैं हम लोग ये. Okay, so because of which he faced criticism for every section, from every section. Okay, because there were too many demands on him. Okay, so politically if you see, women में Sarpanch Pati, men में Gandhi is one person who has faced a lot many demands. Then after this, the next dimension would be what? Okay, we have the dimension of governance. Okay, in governance dimension, let's think. Okay, so how there are restrictions on women, sir. Okay, restrictions on women, whereas there are demands on men. Let's try to understand from the point of view of governance. So governance means, so you can use any corporate examples also here, sir. It's not a problem. Governance means it need not be government led governance, public governance nahi hona chahiye. So even private governance also we can take up. And in private governance, if you see, particularly the women are facing this glass ceiling effect. Okay, so glass ceiling effect we can talk about in women. Okay, so they cannot reach out to their full potential. Okay, higher levels are not open to. Okay, so women, that is one thing that we can talk about. When it comes to men, men in governance aspects, sir, where are too many demands on men? Yes, so this is the case, sir. Usually men suffer from the issue of long working hours. Excessive physical work is also usually given to men. Okay, more responsibilities are also usually given to men. More responsibilities, long working hours. Okay, so all of these things are the problems which usually the men face, sir. Is it clear? Okay, so you can explore that dimension. Then after this, the next dimension would be the international affairs dimension we can start with. Okay, so western versus eastern culture, this is good. So international affairs में सीधा सीधा वहाँ पे ट्राइबल यूज किया हमने, तो इसलिए यहाँ पे हम लोग वेस्टर्न कल्चर्स वर्सेस ईस्टर्न कल्चर्स के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं. Usually the western cultures are more free when compared to the eastern cultures when it comes to women, and even with respect to demands on men too. In western societies usually the demands on men are lesser. Okay, but in eastern societies the demand or the family burden is borne by men. Men are in fact pressurized with achievement. Western versus eastern culture के बारे में हम लोग बात कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. So this international dimension is western versus eastern aspect we can explore here. Okay, so then after international affairs dimension, the next dimension that we have to go to is the economic dimension. Okay, so unequal pay is one very good example for restrictions on women. Very nice, sir. So you people are doing very good. So unequal pay is one important economic dimension. Okay, feminization of agriculture, but okay, so men के ऊपर demand you have to put, not restriction. Women are restricted by unequal pay, sir. Okay, that is definitely a restriction for women workforce participation. So you can say that unequal pay is a major problem which women are having a restriction in. Whereas men पे ज़्यादा demands economy में. Okay, where do we see? Usually the men are supposed to support the family, sir. Yes or no? Okay, that is in fact a crushing economic burden on the male members of the family. So you can use the example of, okay, so this kind of, but domestic violence would be too extreme. So it would be, okay, it would be, so there is in fact, so in marriage alliances also, usually we see at achievement of the male member, then along with that they will be forced to provide for the family. Okay, so and the male members are given a lot of economic obligations, sir. So providing for the family is one important economic obligation on men. So that is one thing that you can explore. Then after this, the next dimension, okay, so women are restriction. Okay, so economy के बाद हमको क्या मिला? Science and tech. Here also you can give brilliant examples, sir. Science and technology में particularly there is very less participation of or women scientists. Very few scientists are there. In fact, the government is trying to promote the women scientists through some schemes, right? So you might be knowing about these schemes. वाइस नहीं, मेरे हिसाब से किरण बोल के एक स्कीम था शायद मेरे हिसाब से. STEM scholarship is one thing that is being done, but particularly for the sake of scientists there is one scheme. Okay, I remember it to be Kiran, but you people can correct me. So women scientist, okay, scientific contribution of women is usually not, okay, so women participation in science based activities itself is restricted. Okay, which one? Yes, you can write. Yes, women have contributed that Mangalyaan mission में. So you can write about that too, but there are some exceptions for this. Okay, like the recent Mangalyaan launch. Okay, so वो भी लिख सकते हैं हम लोग वहीं पे उसी paragraph में. Now the next one is men having too many demands in science field. Are there any too much demands on men, sir? So what we can say is definitely, okay, so most of the scientific contributions in the world or most of the risks in science are borne by men. Okay, experimental, then automatically most of the casualties in science based experiments are also men, sir. So all of these dimensions you can write, it's not problem, sir. Okay, simply if you can put it in a very simple statement, it will look very good. I'm not joking, it will look very good, sir. So most of the times, in fact, men, okay, so are in fact they are forced to take risk. Okay, so and in progress of science, the contribution of men was in fact predominant. Okay, men have contributed disproportionately to science and technology. So that is one thing that you can say. So economic dimension is done. Then after that, the next dimension is what? Okay, so in fact, environmental dimension, but I don't know whether it is very applicable or not. So some things we can exclude, sir. Environmental dimension we can exclude. Okay, but we can include the dimension of, okay, internal security, sir. This is very important because in internal security usually the women participation in okay, combat disciplines. Okay, so women participation in combat disciplines, the recruitment into military is restricted. So that dimension we can explore here. So then apart from that, at the same time, in most of the internal security challenges, okay, men have a disproportionate demand to protect, or the male members in the army, they have a disproportionate demand to protect the society from harm from the enemy. Yes or no? You can give the example of people like Ashok Khemka there, okay, or some martyrs of India, okay, who have died fighting for the country. Okay, so you can give that kind of examples. That was an excessive demand on men. Okay, okay, so this way you can write about internal security dimension. Then after internal security dimension, directly we can jump to the ethical dimension, sir. And in the ethical dimension, we have to look at the gender roles, sir. Okay, ethical dimension में हम लोग question कर सकते हैं basics essence को. The questions essence, that is, women have restrictions and men have demands. Okay, so why this situation has come? Okay, primarily because of both the aspects are an outcome of this system which is called as patriarchy. Okay, where there is no gender justice or gender equality, then automatically some people are restricted, some people are demanded.
Can we also challenge that whole concept that it is due to social conditioning?
Yes, that is what. Khasi's example you can give. So there you can just say patriarchy is the main culprit here. In ethical dimension, you can come to patriarchy, and patriarchy may, okay, so there is always the problem of restrictions on some sections and demands on the other sections. So because of which this has to be replaced by, okay, a society which is based on gender justice, okay, where both the genders can contribute according to their capability. Okay, ऐसा कुछ statement हम लोग वहां पे लिख सकते हैं ethical dimension में, because ethical dimension you can question the essence of the set issue, sir. So in this way we have got some 10 good dimensions. That too, for each dimension there is men angle, woman angle. Usually in most essays you will have a single angle, sir. But here in this essay we have to explore it from 2 dimensions, sir. Okay, so इसमें से हम लोग preference कर सकते हैं. So which is the best point? I think so that so any good point which you can think of as a good introduction, sir, of all these. Introduction में कुछ point use कर सकते हैं. So we can't, I think using an introduction, in introduction I would have given a historical context, sir. Okay, I could have used the Buddha and social evils in India, contrast both of them and give a very good historical context to the given essay. Or otherwise, I could have started the essay as a discussion between a man and a woman, sir. Okay, so each are complaining about their own problems. Okay, so I'll give some name to both the characters. Okay, so there was a discussion, I overheard a discussion between 2 people. Okay, so I'll give 2 names, okay, any very simple names. Okay, one woman name and one man name. So the man is saying that I'm being crushed by my demands. Okay, the woman is saying that people are not letting me do anything. Okay, so both are discussing this issue. So I'll make some 3 to 4 dialogues between them, sir. Okay, 3 to 4 dialogues between them. So first the person says this, the woman says this. Okay, then the woman says that it would have been better if I am born as a man. Then the man says that it would have been better if I am born as a woman. Then it started me thinking. Okay, it led me to a process of thought or thinking, and in the thinking that I started thinking that usually, okay, the woman are looked upon as the people who are suffering in society, but now I understood that even men are suffering. So what are the various dimensions of this problem? I start thinking. Okay, then after that you write the thesis statement. Okay, so let us try to look at the same issue from different perspectives, okay, of history. Okay, so ऐसा कुछ thesis statement में आप लिख सकते. Then after that you have to write about, okay, in this kind of essay the opposing arguments are not there, sir, because you have explored all the dimensions. Okay, there is no opposing arguments here. What you have to do is you can write a other dimension of way forward, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So after exploring all these dimensions in an ordered fashion, so what we can do is, if in order to build a real society based on gender justice, so what we have to do, what kind of steps we need to take up. So those steps, no need to explore 10 steps, sir. 3 good steps you have to write in 3 paragraphs. Then after that, in conclusion, so what you can do is you can bring back the 2 characters that we have talked about. समझ में आया आपको? So conclusion में वो 2 character को लेके आके, so then what we do is, okay, so we can give both of them a statement, okay, which can satisfy them. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So that is how you can conclude this statement, sir. Everything. Yes, that is very good. Okay, we have to explore the synergy between both. Okay, this is very good one. So what you can see is, okay, nothing and everything to something from both the sides will in fact make the society more prosperous, and it will use the energies of both male and female genders equivalently. So ऐसा कुछ conclusion हम लोग लेके आ सकते हैं, sir. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So this way the introduction itself should start with a discussion. Then after that the conclusion may, okay, we have to resolve the discussion, and in the process we have to explore all these dimensions, sir. Okay, will you be able to try this essay? Okay, so at least try this essay for tomorrow. Okay, if someone can write and submit, then I'll be able to evaluate it better, because essay is a very subjective thing, sir. Okay, essay is a very subjective thing. So even though the ideas are common, but how you are exploring and how you are putting them in a short and concise fashion is more important for you, sir. Is it making sense? So I think you got some fair idea on how to write, and while writing, okay, so whenever you write 2 paragraphs, at least at the end of the 2 paragraph, okay, you can write, okay, so one statement like men are being crushed by obligations, okay, women are being crushed by restrictions. Okay, that is one statement. Then उसके बाद में और 2 पैराग्राफ लिखने के बाद क्वेश्चन को हम लोग को लिंक करना पड़ेगा, सर. Okay, लिंक करना पड़ेगा. So then you can write that statement which has said that men are expected to do everything, women are, okay, expected to do nothing. So that is one dimension. Then after that, one more dimension also. So this way the same given statement in different ways you can mold it, and what you can do is you can use them as connecting statements for the paragraphs to given essay, sir. Yes, sir. See, that is one thing. Okay, usually many people ask me this question. I wanted to tell about this. I forgot to tell. Usually in essay, subheadings are not very useful, sir. We should not use the subheadings. Even point format also is not good. See, if you are writing like very innovative side headings, maybe 2, 3 you can do. Innovative, not very mundane. Okay, so I will look at the political dimension here. I will look at the economic dimension. That is not good. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, usually side headings are not much required in essay. Then along with that, diagrams you should not use in essay, sir. Okay, let me be very clear. Okay, diagrams you should not use in essay. Side headings as much as possible you have to avoid it. Then the third dimension is you also have to, okay, while writing an essay, we should always be clear that we should not write any points, sir. Okay, essay should not be written in point format. Then along with that, wherever you put across any good statement or idea, you can, okay, slightly underline the word which is very important, sir. Okay, underlining can be resorted to, but you should not write, okay, so it should not look as if someone sees the essay, every line is underlined. Okay, so मेरा essay में सब point important है, sir. मैंने इतना सोच के लिखा, तो okay, सब underline करके, okay, so बाहर नहीं आना चाहिए. So just the keyword, not even the statement. Keyword you can underline, sir. Okay, that too I have seen in your state services you are supposed to write in rule sheets. Okay, in rule sheets underlining becomes even more difficult, but if you can do it cleanly, then it would be good, sir. All right. Okay, so this is one essay, so which is a very normal essay, and this essay we can explore in these dimensions. Then introduction with a discussion between two people, a short story, then conclusion also giving, okay, some kind of insight to both the people, okay, is what we can do, sir. Okay, so that is one kind of essay that we can take up. Then let me discuss one more essay, then you will get even more clarity, sir. Let's pick up a philosophical essay this time, sir. Okay, let's pick up a philosophical essay. See, usually in writing philosophical essays, many people are confused. Okay, they think that in order to write philosophical essay, we also should be philosophers. Okay, but we should not be, need not be philosophers necessarily. Okay, the essay given statement might be philosophical, but what we have to do is we have to apply it to real life problems and issues, sir. Okay, then you have to bring in a conclusion. Are you following what I'm trying to say? And let's take one philosophical essay, sir. Okay. Shall we take up this not all who wander are lost? Let's pick it up. Okay, let's try this. Okay, why not? Okay, not all who wander are lost. Okay, so this is one good essay topic, sir. Okay, so sub sannyasi. Okay, so let's try to explore these dimensions. Just listen to me. Let's try to, okay, make it as simple as possible, sir. Not all who wander are lost. Okay, so not all who wander are lost is the given essay statement, sir. Okay, just listen to this very carefully. The same kind of exploration we will do for this too, sir. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So क्वेश्चन कितना भी फिलोसॉफिकल हो, बट हमारा एक्सप्लोरेशन कैसा होना चाहिए? सेम टू सेम स्टैंडर्ड. So first let's try to, okay, so take up any historical example of people who are wanderers but who are not lost. Okay, again we can come back to Buddha is the best example for this. Okay, Buddha, Mahavira. Okay, so all these people are what? They are good examples of the people who are wanderers, but these people are not lost. In fact, they found some spiritual truth because of their wanderings. Yes, okay, Vasco da Gama हम लोग आएंगे उसके ऊपर. Okay, so Vasco da Gama also we can write, but I think the best example from history is, okay, the people who are like the sannyasis of India. Okay, Buddha, or you can take up the example of Shankaracharya. He is also a wanderer continuously during his lifetime. Okay, but he is not lost. Okay, not all who wander are lost. Okay, is a statement. So the first and best example in history is Buddha, sir. Then after this, okay, let's take a social example. Okay, social example of, okay, people who wander but not lost. But that is also will become a historical dimension. Think more contemporary. Okay, contemporary in the society. Okay, in the society of today. Okay, so more I also got this cruel idea, but okay. So in fact, we can take the example of some people who are like NGOs. Okay, so NGOs, or we can so some NGO personality, or okay, people like Medha Patkar, Kailash Satyarthi. So you can explore these kind of dimensions. Yes, Abdul Kalam, but was he lost any time? Did he wander? I think the people who in fact explore the, okay, the occupations which are not expected by the society are all the people who are wanderers. Okay, the people who are taking up jobs, yes, that kind of people. The people who in fact don't follow the standard set social rules of occupation, family, okay, but they have done great service to the society. So these kind of people we can pick up, sir. Okay, if you want to, okay, if people are accepting, then you can even take the example of Mother Teresa too. Okay, so Mother Teresa or some or the other NGO, any person who has left his family life in order to do great service for the nation. Okay, so maybe, okay, so maybe you can take any example from the society, sir. It's not a problem. So then after that, okay, so we can take the example of geography. So at that point of time in geography, we can take the example of Christopher Columbus, sir. Even more than Vasco da Gama, he is more apt example here. Okay, because he wanted to go west in order to come to east. He was also wandering. Okay, and finally he landed in the Americas. Okay, so he thought initially that he is lost completely. Okay, मैं कहाँ पे आ गया? Okay, यहाँ पे local regions are, these people don't look like Indians. Okay, let me call them Red Indians. Then after that he came back. Okay, so but he could not find that route to India, but he was lost. But finally, what he was able to do, okay, he is in fact the person who discovered two huge continents that are North and South America. Yes or no, sir? Yes, this we can say very clearly. Then after this, let's take the example of political personalities, sir. Okay, political personalities or political personalities who are wanderers, but the people who are not lost, we have to take. Anna Hazare, okay, but his old example. Some prominent example, Kejriwal. So maybe, okay, so we can take up the example of Subhash Chandra Bose. He was definitely a wanderer. Okay, he was first, he got educated in, I think his early years were in Odisha. Yes, so his early years were in Odisha. Then after that he went to Bengal, became a civil servant, then came back to India, became a national leader under C.R. Das. Okay, then after that organized or participated in non-cooperation, civil disobedience. Okay, not so many dimensions, but you can write Subhash Chandra Bose, okay, as a student. Then after that, okay, as a national leader, we can talk about. Okay, so civil servant in between, civil servant, then national leader. Then after that, okay, you can take the example of him going to, okay, Germany, then Japan. So INA, all of these dimensions you can write about for Subhash Chandra Bose, but he was not lost. In fact, he stood as an inspiration for many generations of national leaders is one thing that you can write. Yes, so he was not lost, he was wandering, but he was not lost. Then, okay, so one more dimension that we can explore is the dimension of governance. Okay, governance का कोई applicability है इसका? Are there? Governance में वो ethics में आएगा sir. Who? Socrates we are talking about. Philosophers, but not particularly in governance. So maybe in governance we can take up the example of any prominent diplomats or any popular, okay, bureaucrats. Armstrong Palme. Yes, Armstrong Palme is one person. So we can take his example. So what he has done? So people's roads. Okay, so those things we can write about, sir. Wanderer. Yes, that is a problem. So rather than that, let's take the example of, I remember one bureaucrat being kidnapped, sir. Okay, so what is his name? Alex. Huh? Maybe. Okay, this is an even better example, sir. Good example. Ashok Kemka example you give. So he got transferred so many number of times. Okay, he looks like a wanderer. What, sir? Boliye koi nahi. Okay, V.K. Pandian. Okay, so V.K. Pandian is no wanderer, sir. He has a clear vision. What he wants to do, he is doing. There is no wandering there. Okay, so I think Ashok Kemka's example, good example, sir. Ashok Kemka example we can write here. Okay, then after governance, the next one is international relations. Okay, in international relations, in fact, India initially looked like a wanderer because of its non-alignment movement. So we were not aligning to either the west or east, and that made us look like wanderers. Okay, but we are not lost because we wanted to take the international relation decisions on the basis of principles and ethics. Okay, even though the Americans considered us to be lost, what we did is we were able to, okay, take decisions which are based on, okay, ethical principles. That is the reason why we are not lost. That is the reason why we became the leaders of the third world today. बोल के international relation का example लिख सकते हैं आप. Bipolar to multipolar world transition हो गया, and India remains a strong pole because it did not align with either the western pole or eastern pole. Yes, NAM. Yes, that's what I was saying. NAM is the one. So international relations का हो गया. Then economics. Yes, sir. लिख सकते सर. Nelson Mandela, but did he not? He was not permitted to wander. He was in jail for 27 years. Okay, so I'm just joking. तो जेल में था तो उसका एग्जाम्पल उतना ठीक नहीं रहेगा शायद मेरे हिसाब से. उसके साथ में इकोनॉमिक डायमेंशन में we can take up the issue of startups. So this is the best example for, okay, wanderers who are not lost. Okay, in fact they have left very remunerative jobs, but they are doing what? They are doing some research. They are wandering, they are exploring various dimensions. Okay, and they are not lost. In that, you can give example of any prominent Indian startup like Flipkart. Okay, so they left very remunerative jobs in Amazon. People felt that these people had lost. Okay, Narayan Murthy का example भी आप लिख सकते हैं. किसी का भी example लिख सकते हैं sir. Okay, startups is one very good example of wanderer but not lost, sir. Okay, then after this economic dimension, science and technology में तो हमको बहुत सारा example मिल जाएगा, sir, because this statement applies to scientists only. Okay, so Madam Curie is one, so you can talk about her. Okay, in fact, she explored various. Who? Edison. Edison is the best example, sir. Okay, because he tried with so many metals in order to create the light bulb. Okay, but finally he came down to tungsten, and he, in fact, okay, enlightened the, not enlightened, but lightened the entire world. Enlightened is Buddha. This person has lightened the world, sir. Okay. So so this is one thing. So Thomas Alva Edison is one prominent person that we can talk about, but we should not talk about his stealing the ideas of, okay. So the other person, so those things we should not write. We can write about Thomas Alva Edison as a scientist. Then the next dimension is environment. In fact, environmental conservation itself is, okay, initially whenever people were speaking about environmental conservation, people used to think that these people are lost. Okay, particularly, okay, so the example of HIPCO movement we can give for this, sir. Okay, this is one very good example. Okay, when the development versus environment debate started, the people who supported environment are considered to be wanderers who don't have any purpose, sir. Yes, Vandana Shiva also is one example, very good example. So you might be knowing about the lady with big red bindi, Vandana Shiva. Okay, so you don't know, she is also one prominent environmentalist, sir. So what we can say is, initially all the environmentalists who try to protect the environment, they are considered as wanderers, but they had a particular purpose to protect the environment. So, and you can give any prominent environmentalist example, sir. Okay, Greta is not accepted environmentalist, sir. She is, in fact, Sadhguru. Okay, Sadhguru. Yes, Sunita Narayan. Okay, so she is also one that, what is that website that she started? Okay, Down to Earth. Am I correct? Down to Earth is Sunita Narayan? No, leave it be. Okay, so you can give example of Chipko, or you can give example of any environmentalist. Now, okay, the next dimension is disaster management, but in disaster management, the people who wander will definitely be lost, sir. Okay. So disaster situation, you should not wander. So it is not possible for us. Okay, so leave that dimension. So the next dimension is economic, science and technology, environment, internal security, sir. Okay, internal security factor may you can give the example of Ajit Doval. So he was definitely a wanderer at one point of time. Covert, he has gone to different countries, he wandered. Okay, but he was able to get a very good strategic insight into the things, and today he became an NSA. Okay, we can write that, it's not wrong thing to do. Okay, Ajit Doval example we can definitely give with respect to internal security. A wanderer who was not lost is this person, sir. Okay, so then after this, okay, whether his achievements are real or, okay, so fabricated, we don't know. We will never be able to ascertain that, but Ajit Doval example will be good one, sir. Then the next dimension is the ethics dimension, sir. So ethical dimension में आप क्या लिखेंगे, sir? Rather than Buddha, so we can take the example of people who, in fact, first and foremost, in the early stages of life, they experimented with many things. Okay, wherein they, in fact, committed many wrong things also while experimenting. But okay, so as with the age, they became more matured, because of which Mahatma Gandhi, my experiments with truth, is one good example, because he gives a long list of wrong things that he has done in his own life, sir, ranging from meat consumption to alcohol consumption. Okay, then after that, okay, so many personal limitations of his he put forward. Okay, and in fact he was doing many things which today's society or we can consider as outrightly unethical. But finally he was able to come to a value system, okay, which in fact directed him and guided him to take actions without any fear of the consequences. तो वो भी बोल सकते हैं हम लोग. Is it making sense, sir? So in fact we can take up the example of Gandhi ji in the ethical dimension with respect to not those all who wander or lost. So while writing this essay, every 2 dimensions please change the, okay, so given statement into different formats, and then write it to connect to the given statement. If you are not able to change, at least to quote the given essay statement while writing the essay. Okay, then apart from that, see, we need not write in this particular dimension only, sir. See, I told about the individual familial level, then okay, societal level, national level, international level. So in those dimensions also, one dimension which we can bring in here is individual level, sir. Okay, so individual level, we can talk about some spiritual values of people. So in spirituality usually, okay, most of the times what happens, okay, spiritual values को के ऊपर ला सकते हैं इसको. So we can explore this same dimension at individual level or individual psychological level also we can explore this dimension, sir. Huh? So no, own experience is not good, sir. Okay, so maybe in introduction when you are narrating a story, own experience is good. Okay, but in dimensions exploration, our personalized examples might not. Okay, so in fact the examiner might not like them. Yes, sir. Which one? See, first you just try to write all these things, sir. I mean, write all these things, then prioritize. So maybe some 10 dimensions you can explore. So 10 dimensions if you explore, then what will happen is those 10 dimensions you mention there. Don't write what you are going to say. Thesis statement mein I am going to look at the said issue from historical. Okay, then after that from social, geographical. Need not necessarily be an exhaustive account, sir. So some 5 to 6 dimensions you can write there. Then after that when you are exploring, you can take more dimensions also in. Is it clear? But is there any other dimension to this, sir?
Yes, sir.
Are the people who are wandering nearly really lost?
Can we like national level? We had our taste with destiny in 1947. We experimented a lot of things. And finally, we are here like this.
But if we call India as lost nation, okay, other dimensions लिखने में you can take some good examples, sir. Okay, इसी dimensions में कुछ good examples हम लोग ले सकते हैं, saying that some people who wander might not reach the destination. Yes or no? That is also possible. ऐसा नहीं है कि हर wanderer is becoming successful. Okay, so you can take up that dimension too. Then at the same time, some people they might have a clear career path or plan from young age, and they will follow it through and through, and they become successful. That is also there. है कि नहीं सर? ऐसा भी 2-3 एग्जाम्पल लिखना चाहिए, because this is not the only reality of life that only the people who wander are, okay, so not lost. Sometimes they are definitely lost too. Maximum lost. Only minimum examples. Which is actually right too. So maximum number of people are definitely lost, sir.
Now at one side and laughing at the other side. Like he left also in job.
Who? The other. Osama bin Laden. So rather than that, okay, I will be giving one very good example for this, sir. So usually there is a major problem of drug addiction in India. Okay, so we can link it to the drug addiction. Okay, the people who wander into drugs, they are never found. Okay, so okay, drug dimension को हम लोग link कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. Okay, so drug dimension में if they get involved in drugs, then they are lost definitely. Okay, so drugs के बारे में हम लोग लिख सकते हैं यहाँ पे. So then wandering into some very dangerous dimensions is also always wrong. Okay, I did not see any person who went into a cyclone and came back. Okay, so just I'm joking, but
Actually, during tsunami, if you wandered in deep, you will survive.
yes, that is also there, but very difficult, sir. So, but drugs is one good example. Then you can give one more example. So you can use the example of terrorism, sir. In fact, the terrorists also are the people, Naxalites are also the people who wander. Okay, but definitely they are lost. Okay, because they don't have any proper ideology today. So except for fighting's sake, their ideology has got extinguished, sir. So Naxal example, terrorist example, we can give saying that these people are definitely lost permanently. Then after that, okay, you can give any successful example of the people too who had a clear career path and progression. So who were able to achieve their aims. A sports example. Okay, you can give the example of people like Virat Kohli. Okay, MS Dhoni, he played football and came here, but Virat Kohli was hardwired to cricket, sir, from a very young age. हाँ, so धोनी का वही wandering आ जाते हैं sir, धोनी का. Okay, maybe, but is any other athlete. Okay, so you can take up the example of any great personality from sports and you can say. Okay, so you Sachin Tendulkar, आपका मर्जी sir. Okay, कुछ भी लिख लीजिए. So one example you write. So 3-4 dimensions of the other ideas also we need to explore, sir. And finally what we have to do is we have to conclude the given essay. So conclude करते वक्त should we support wandering or should we support clear path? Simple. Okay, there should be synergy between them too. Okay, so what we have to do is there should be a synergy between them. So it means that the people, okay, who wander also should have a definite aim. Okay, the ultimate objective should be there. Then only they can again find the path of life. If they are aiming or moving around aimlessly, then they will not definitely be lost. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? And at the same time, the people who are too serious about their life also, they should also take the other dimension of sometimes exploring, wandering, so that they can get some new ideas about life.
In order to reach a place, we have to leave a place.
Leave a place. वो कैसे भी करके इन दोनों का बैलेंस करते हुए आपको कंक्लूजन लिखना पड़ेगा सर. So it means that the people who are too serious, they have to wander. The people who are completely wandering, they should have some clear objectives. Okay? So what you have to do is you have to balance between both of them and you have to write the essay, sir. Will you be able to write a good enough essay on the basis of this? Yes? But try to make it an example which is known to more number of people. Okay, so known to more number of people where the examiner while correcting, he will be able to connect to it. Okay, if he has to take out his phone and search for the said example, he will not do. Okay, so he will leave it, sir. So that is the reason why.
These philosophical essays are coming more and more. So apart from this special what else can be? If this is not fitting.
Yes. So if this is not fitting, there are some cases where okay, this approach might not fit. Okay, particularly in some areas, okay, where the essay is too philosophical. Okay, so in let's suppose they give a essay which talks about the exploration of individual psyche. Okay, so individual mindset को explore करते हुए एक essay का statement दिया. तो वहां पे हम लोग ये approach use नहीं कर सकते सर. And my suggestion would be, because essays have options, please leave those kind of essays. Okay, so it's not required for us. Wherever we can apply and write a very good satisfactory essay, we will have that scope, sir. Okay, so too much philosophical, too deep into philosophy, what happens is in philosophy we can't satisfy any person, sir. Okay, because philosophy in itself is a very unhappy discipline. Okay, तो हम लोग उस पे कोई conclusion नहीं आ सकते. There is no broad statement that we can make. So I think this would be better for us, sir. Is it clear? So quotation based essays also we can write this way. Okay, I'll show one more example of an essay which has a quotation. Is there any essay which is based on quotation here? देख लीजिए सर, ए स्टेटमेंट देख लीजिए. Okay, this is in fact too philosophical an essay. Okay, what it is saying is thinking is like a game. It does not begin unless there is an opposite team is the given statement, sir. Okay, this is like a quotation. Okay, so when will thinking start? Does it require an opposite team or not? Okay, so without opposite team can we think? Okay, so then sometimes does the opposite team help us to think clear, or will it confuse us? Okay, a sub dimension ये तो पूरा philosophical essay, sir.
Sir, in this we can give philosophical example like Socrates and Socrates.
हाँ, तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा इसका ऊपर definitely we have to use some philosophical thinking process. We have to do this, sir. Okay, but this essay also I will give you some approach where you can in fact answer this essay, sir. Okay, ऐसा पूरा philosophical है, बहुत मुश्किल है उसको. I mean, in order to understand it also is very difficult. Then applying to various dimensions is also very difficult. So in this kind of essays, what you do is, whatever the central statement is there, okay, you raise some 4 to 5 questions to the central question, sir. 4 to 5 questions. Okay, first question is, can we think without opposite team? Is the first question. समझ में आया आपको? Can we think without the opposite team? Is the first question. Then second question is, how does the opposite team help us in thinking? That is the second dimension. Is it clear? Okay, so then the third dimension is, does the opposite team always help us to think clear? Need not necessarily be. Yes, sometimes. Okay, does the opposite team always help us to think clearly is one more dimension that we can explore. Okay, then after that, the fifth dimension is, okay, so if the opposite team is helping us to think clear, then are they really our opposition? That is one more philosophical dimension. Okay, so this way you can cut it down into 4 dimensions, sir. समझ में आया आपको? और हर डायमेंशन के लिए 2-3 एग्जाम्पल, द सेम वे दैट यू हैव डन सिलेबस बेस्ड एग्जाम्पल. फॉर ईच डायमेंशन यू गेट आउट सम 3-4 डायमेंशंस, सर. 3-4 examples. Are you getting this? So can we think without an opposite team? First question. Okay, so in that you apply it to the syllabus. Can we think without the opposite team, sir? Are there any examples of thinking without opposite team? Yeah, anything. Okay, can we think without an opposite team is the question. Some or the other kind of, see, Buddha fought against Mara, desire. That is his opposition. It need not be physical human opposition. So that is one idea which in fact did not have any opposing team to it, sir. No, not that. I am not able to say. You are talking about the negative, but positive dimension ek boli thi, sir. Can we think without an opposite team is the question. Who? Yes. See, in fact, innovation is one key discipline where there is no need is the opposition. Yes. Okay, so this way if you think, that is the reason why I don't want you guys to attempt this kind of essays, sir. Okay, very simply I am trying to tell it. See how difficult it is. Are you understanding what I am trying to say? When you cut out the dimensions, initially it seemed very simple, sir. But when you start thinking, then you will find exceptions to it. But we don't know. Okay, whether we will be able to reach the destination or not is very difficult to tell. So that is the reason why I'll tell you one thing. Okay, so in essay we should always focus on basic minimum guarantee, sir. So ऐसा नहीं रहना चाहिए कि this is not like okay T20 match, it is like a test match, sir. Okay, you need not like we don't know. Okay, so sometimes what happens is if we fire these kind of bullets, then most of the times misfire, sir. Okay, rather than that, let's play a game which is more safe. Pick up a topic which you can approach or apply with the single dimension, no multiple dimensions, one positive, one negative. That's it. Okay, no inner thinking again. Okay, so getting step by step inside is not required. So if we try to get step by step inside, then what will happen is more and more questions will come out. Then you can't close the essay in a satisfactory manner. समझ में आया आपको? तो लेकिन अगर आपके पास इतना इंटेलेक्चुअल कैपेबिलिटी है तो लिखने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज maybe okay in the condition of an examination. So when we have to write the essay in a limited time, so having that high level clarity with respect to the dimensions and closing the issues and satisfying the examiner, all these demands they will get messed up, sir. Okay, अगर हमको ज्यादा टाइम मिला 1-2 दिन सोच के उसके बाद लिखो बोल के, so if they give the time, then that is a different case, sir. Okay, and I feel so that in essay, even if given freedom, what will happen is people will spoil the essay, sir. Limited time में ही अच्छा लिखता है, sir. So that is the reason why let's not pick up those kind of issues, sir. But visionary decision making happens at the intersection of intuition and logic. That is also one difficult kind of essay. Okay, so maybe inspiration for creativity springs from the effort to look for the magical in the mundane. Okay, so this can be written, sir. This is simple. Okay, so inspiration for creativity springs from the effort to look for the magical in the mundane. So it means that in the common things, if you are able to find magical things, then Newton's apple, yes. So introduction itself you can use Newton and his apple. So it is mundane thing, but he has seen some magic behind it. So this way we can in fact explore the historical, social dimensions too. Okay, then individual level dimensions too. Yes or no, sir? So in fact, in the running of a successful family, okay, the people should look at the family relations as magical. If they look at them as mundane things, then the family will never be successful, sir. Okay, but if we look too much magic, then it will look like black magic is what he's saying. Okay, that is one opposite dimension that you can talk about. Okay, but we can explore this, sir. This is very good dimension. समझ में आया आपको? सो हम लोग लिख सकते हैं इसको, हिस्टोरिकल एग्जांपल्स है हमें, सोसाइटी में हम लोग फैमिली के ऊपर अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. देन आफ्टर दैट ज्योग्राफी आल्सो, okay, is a very mundane subject, but okay, if you look at the things that have been done by geography, they will look very magical, sir. Okay, rather than that, we can take this example of continental drift. Okay, every year moving by a centimeter or a meter is a very mundane thing, but what they have created the magical Himalayas. तो वैसे लिख सकते geographical dimension. Then political dimension may be mundane work leading to political success. Okay, so here also again we can think of Modi. Which one? Jitendra. So what is that name? Mountain Man. So that okay, so mountain man के बारे में आप लिख सकते हैं sir. So it looks very mundane, but it has some magic behind it. Then after that, okay, so in fact we take multiple examples we can take for this, sir. This can be approached. This can be approached, sir. This can be done very easily. It's not very problematic essay, so we can do that. Okay, so then apart from that, visionary decision making, that is okay, somewhat risky, sir. Okay, what is intuition, what is logic, we have to understand it very clear, because usually the human brain, I'm just trying to tell you, so usually the humans are supposed to possess three capabilities, sir. Okay, one is usually called as the capability of the human gut, that is to intuit, sir. Then the second one is to emote, that is the principle of the heart. Then third one is to think logically, that is the capability of our head. So in this, what they are saying is creativity, it comes, or inspiration for creativity springs from, visionary decision making happens at the intersection of intuition and logic. तो इसमें भी हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, we can write this, sir. It's not very difficult, but we have to know about many personalities who are many visionaries we need to know about, okay, who on the basis of intuition and logic both they have taken the decisions. समझ में आ रहा है सर आप लोगों को? Yes. So this way you have to write this essay, but it is also a little difficult to handle, sir. But we can do that. It's not like impossible. Is it making sense, sir? So in every dimension we can explore different personalities who are present. Okay. So then you can write at the end that apart from okay the intuition and the logical mind, even the emotional aspect also becomes important. Okay, because sometimes the decisions which are taken just emotionally, they might have led to some visionary achievements. Not satisfied. Okay, so you'll be able to write, sir. It's not very difficult. So now I think you got the basic way of exploring the essay. So exploring, then after that prioritizing the points is very important, sir. The best point should come on top. Then regularly the given statement should be repeated. Then introduction, conclusion. Conclusion should be most probably in essay, it should be a balancing conclusion, because we have to in fact explore the opposite dimensions also in the essay, sir. Is it clear? So any other questions that you have, particular questions where okay you need some help? Okay, try to understand essay in a very simple fashion, sir. Okay, don't complicate it, don't explore too many dimensions. Word limit. Okay, so usually in 125 word, okay, the allowed space is 10 to 12 pages, sir. 10 to 12 pages. Okay, 10 to 12 pages is the allowed limit. So it means that your essay will come in somewhere around 5 sheets. 5 sheets, 5 to 6 sheets maximum. See, usually it is better to stick to somewhere around 100 plus or minus. Okay, plus में आप 200 word भी ज़्यादा लिख सकते हैं, minus में don't come down to 800. Okay, 900 is best. But I think if you use this approach, you will have more things to write, sir. Okay, there will not be less things. There will be more things to write. Okay, you will have a constraint of space or time. Okay, because you are exploring multiple dimensions, you are thinking in multiple directions. So this way we need to write, sir. Okay, so then on the other part or the other section of the paper, let's see, sir. Okay, see this one. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So it is in fact giving a new dimension to education. So it is saying that education is something which starts after school. Book education versus the real life education. Yes. Okay, so in fact, not just in that dimension, sir, we can also write about the limitations of school-based education in India today. because our education system is not, okay, enough in order to train the people for the challenges of the world. That is the reason why they are being forced to learn after going into the outside world. So our education doesn't prepare people emotionally. Our education doesn't prepare people, okay, with respect to how to handle their personal life. That is not taught. Only what is in the outside world that is taught. But how to handle oneself, how to handle one's own family or personal relations, that is not taught in education. Kahin pe bhi nahi. Then most of the times in our education system, particularly in engineering education, after a person becomes an engineer, then he starts thinking what he should do in life. Not before. Yes or no? And necessary skills are also not provided for the engineers. So because of which again there should be an industrial training exercise. समझ में आ रहा है सर आप लोगों को? So this way you can in fact explore these multiple dimensions, limitations of the education system. Then apart from that, the challenges of real life are the two dimensions which we can explore in this area, sir. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, so challenges of real life we have to write. Okay, so let's suppose job market competition. It will force you to, okay, in fact unlearn and learn. Yes, because we can give an example of recently when the central government opened up a post for clerical job in SBI. I think there were 36 lakh applications, sir. And majority of them are, okay, so PhDs. Many of them are PhDs, many of them are MAs. So which shows the competition in the market. Yes, so then after this, the next one is, we can talk about what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So challenges of real life may not just job challenge. So we can talk about the decision making challenges that can come across in a person's life. Then health challenges that come across in a person's life. Yes or no, sir? So all of these challenges you can explore, and you can say that the education cannot be confined to merely what has been learned in school. In conclusion, we can write that there should be a lifelong learning process.
We start with asking the core question what education actually means. Is it this, is it that?
Yes, yes. That is also one good. I told you, right, in introduction itself, you can raise some questions, sir. Okay, or you can in fact talk about, okay, some historical example or some story. Okay, some story of maybe, okay, a person who is getting paid very well, but he is not able to handle his anxiety, and you have come across a news article saying that a person who is in a very high paying job has committed suicide. Huh? Sushant Singh, yes, that is one good example, because he was highly educated, sir, and he was successful in his career too. So then, okay, so you can see this in the newspaper. Maybe, okay, education did not provide him the necessary life skills in order to live a life. Okay, that would be the good introduction. Okay, then उसके बाद में आप explore करना शुरू कर लीजिए, thesis लिख लीजिए पहले, उसके बाद explore करना शुरू कर लीजिए. So this is one good way of writing the introduction for the essay, sir. Okay, some current affairs based story I told you, right? So that is one thing that you can quote here. Okay, so this way, if you are open-ended in your thinking, and if you are able to write very short and good statements, that itself would be sufficient for essay, sir. Okay, don't try to philosophize about the essay. This is the simplistic formula in order to write essays. But any more steps if you want, what you have to do is you have to first write an essay. Okay, then show me, then I'll be able to give some suggestions, sir. Okay, otherwise in a generalized discussion, these are the basic things, okay, so that we can discuss about. So on this note, shall we wind it up, or do you have any other questions? So if you have any other questions, you can feel free to ask, sir. Yes, sir. Correcting statements, yes, I'll give you one example. So that's what, okay, supporting arguments may some 10 paragraphs if you are writing, then opposing arguments may, you can at least write some 3 to 4 paragraphs, sir. Okay, so usually supporting arguments may nearly some 60 to 70% of your essay should be there, 30 to 40% should be to the opposing arguments. That too, depending on essay to essay, it is going to vary, sir. But this is minimum, that is 70-30 or 60-40 you have to maintain. So in total, how many? This is 14-15 paragraphs. Then after that, introduction is one paragraph, conclusion is one more paragraph. So it will come up to 17 to 18 paragraphs it will come to, sir. Okay, 17 to 18 paragraphs it will come to. So, and if let's suppose in each paragraph, if we are writing somewhere around 40 to 50 words. Okay, then finally, while you are writing, it will go more only, it will not come down lesser. So if you write 20 paragraphs, I think 50 words each, 1000 words is automatically accounted for, sir. Is it clear? But writing a paragraph in 50 words is the real challenge. That is the real challenge, sir. That too very exhaustively. You should be able to present your idea very clearly. That is more difficult. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? So भाई साहब 20 पैराग्राफ, okay, 1000 words is one strategy that we can follow, sir. Yes. So any other question?
How many quotations would there?
So ideally, my opinion is earlier there used to be a lot many quotations which are usually put by people, sir, in essays particularly. Okay, almost every 3-4 paragraphs one quotation. Okay, this way also some people used to write, but now I think so that quotations, what happens is, in order to write them, you have to mug them up, sir. Then if you mug them up, then what will happen is you will get a pressure in your mind to use them, sir. Okay, whether related to essay, unrelated to essay, okay, हर किसी में हमारा एक quotation वहाँ पे रहे. I know one prominent quotation from almost, if I remember it very correctly, 2008-9 to 2015-16. This quotation is the most abused quotation in UPSC examination. I'll tell you one example. There is in this world there is enough for man's need but not for his greed. Okay, education के ऊपर ऐसे लिख रहा है, उसके बीच में आके okay, there is enough for every man's need but not for his greed लिखा. तो उसके बाद का स्टेटमेंट का उससे कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है. ओके, सो ऐसा हम लोग अगर वो सीख लिया तो क्या करते, it becomes an obligation on us. And one more thing is it will break the logical flow of your essays. That is the reason why it would be better for us to, okay, remember only a few quotations. If they are can be applied, you apply. Okay, that too in quotations what happens is usually we have to quote it correctly, sir. You should not misquote. You should not do grammatical mistakes in quotation. Okay, because it reflects poorly on the personality of the person who has quoted it originally. तो वैसा कुछ mistakes नहीं करने का. Yes. You can do, but English translation you have to write. Translation you have to compulsory write. You can also write it in your native language also, but below that you have to write the English translation of the same. Which one? Script. If you are chosen to write the examination in your native language, then you can use your native language. But otherwise, you have to write it in English only, sir. Okay, you will choose it beforehand itself, right? So, what script you are going to write in? Okay, so that is the case. Any other question? Yes. So maybe 3-4 paragraphs after. Okay, so 3-4 paragraphs लिख लीजिए. Then उसके बाद एक quotation लिख लीजिए. Then after that you go to the dimension. Yes, that is fine. Okay, if you are capable. Okay, some people actually can in fact tell quotations without any problem, sir. I know some people who can do. I am not one of those. Okay, so because of which I am not emphasizing too much on quotations. So it would be better for us to write good English, clean English with proper punctuations, short statements, short paragraphs. Okay, and get done with this, sir. Okay, this is minimum guarantee program where you get out of 250 minimum 130 to 140 marks, sir. Okay, so but taking the shot at 160 sometimes also lands you at 90, sir. That is not the risk that we need to take. Okay, so इसलिए 130 140 के डायमेंशन में लिखो और पैराग्राफ्स बहुत सही लिखा तो that itself will increase to 155. Okay, so this kind of marks also got by people who have written very simple and very clear essays. Okay, in fact, the paragraphs writing, even though I am telling it very simply, while writing you will know, sir. What happens is, okay, so our writing is a reflection of our mind. Okay, we will not be able to execute it so easily. So please try to write one essay. All right. So you can pick up any topic that you want to. Maybe the last year OPSC paper for the people who are going for mains. So pick up any essay and try to write it. Okay, then you can submit in office. I'll see. All right. Okay, so that is the case. So on this note. Connecting statements. Yes, I was thinking. So connecting statements, in order to write connecting statements, see, when you take up the essay itself. Okay, so essay itself, let's suppose one statement is maybe education starts after school is one statement. Okay, so because we are saying that education is something which starts after unlearning the things that we have learned at school. Okay, maybe education starts after school. Then after that, one more statement that we can say is, okay, so education looks like a lifelong learning process. There is one more connecting statement to the given statement itself. Okay, then one more way of writing the same statement is, we can say that, okay, so maybe in school, okay, there is only focus on a few dimensions of education is one more quote, one more statement which can be considered as a connecting statement. end so suitability के हिसाब से, okay, because if you make a very good point at the end of that, you can say this, okay, maybe in school the students are learning only a few dimensions of education. End पे बहुत more suitability will be, sir, but not for every paragraph, maybe for 3 to 4 paragraphs at one time. So you can write this kind of connecting statements so that you prove to the examiner that you have not wandered away from the core demand of the essay. Okay, so maybe too many wanderers today. Okay, so that is one thing that you have to do, connecting statements. So then after that, so this way 4 to 5 different kinds of statements. When you are choosing an essay itself, there itself you can write, sir. ओके, ये 4-5 स्टेटमेंट ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं हम लोग कनेक्टिंग स्टेटमेंट्स बोल के, वहीं पे 5-6 स्टेटमेंट लिख लीजिए और एसे के ऊपर 2-3 पैराग्राफ में अगर अच्छा पॉइंट आ गया आपका तो उसके बाद ओके यू पुट वन ऑफ दिस डायमेंशंस देयर, सर. इज इट क्लियर? सो दिस इज हाउ वी कैन राइट कनेक्टिंग स्टेटमेंट्स. ऑलराइट, so we'll call it a day today. So I hope so that the session has helped you people. Okay, so this is the case with the essay writing style, sir. Okay, but write, practice more, okay, rather than merely listening to theory. Okay, knowing about how to hit a 6 is different, how actually to hit a 6 is very different, sir. So think about it, okay, and try to practice. All right.